I'm an expert on the directionality within the body that projectiles go, entrance, exit, the direction within the body.
You've given an opinion that Dr. Reamer was wrong on the shot that blew Paul's brain out of his skull and it landed on the ground, correct?
That's correct.
All right, we've got some disagreement amongst experts. Uh-oh. Not the first time, folks. Not the first time in a big murder trial that experts from the two sides don't agree with one another. But this is kind of interesting because what they disagree about is from which direction Paul Murdaugh was shot with that fatal shotgun shot. I mean, I don't know if I've ever covered a trial where they disagree about the direction of the fatal shot. But let's take a listen, first to the state expert and then the defense expert.
So there was a large shotgun wound defect to the top of his left shoulder. And there were lots of pellets recovered in the left shoulder area. And from there, it kind of just went across the top of the left shoulder and then went into the left side of the neck and face. Okay, and from there, his face actually was not destroyed from this, but there's a big exit wound on the top of the right side of the head. So this wound went from his left toward his right and upward and with a slight front to back deviation.
So the other shot resulted in his head exploding?
Correct.
Okay, explain to the jury what she said and then what you believe, and we'll talk about why the difference is in just a minute.
Sure.
Okay?
So in her autopsy report, she stated that she believed the entrance was coming from the left side, went up, and then it exited the top of the head. To me, this is a contact range shotgun wound to the top of the head that caused extreme pressure buildup in the head from it being contact, leading to these types of fractures, and that the pellets, so the shotgun wound comes in, the wadding will start to open up. All of that pressure basically, for lack of a better term, will explode what's there because the pressure needs to get out somehow. And then the head would have been down like this, and the pellets lodged here and went into the left shoulder, and then you can see that the pellets are going down into the tissues of the left shoulder.
Okay, so when you look at the wound in his shoulder and his neck, and of course his head, tell us where Dr. Reamer got it wrong.
Well, I think she has it reversed. And the reason being is, now that you've seen where all the pressure would go, if the entrance wound is here on the left shoulder, and we're saying that we're at least 3 to 4 feet away from there because we have no soot, we have no stippling on the skin, then by the time it gets to the left side of the chin or over here at the angle of the mandible, the jaw, we've lost a lot of energy. And so yes, you can get some pellets still going up into the head, but you're not gonna have the top of the head completely blown off. And if you look at the photograph here, you can see, for all of us, it curves over and goes around because the top of our skull's there. If you look here, it goes flat. He's missing the top of his skull. That would not have happened from a 3 to 4 foot, 3 feet or further shotgun wound coming in on the left side.
All right, for years here on Court TV, when we've had this exact situation, a battle of the experts inside the courtroom where the prosecution expert says one thing and then the defense expert literally now says something the exact opposite. I need an independent voice. I need like a voice of reason here. Someone who's definitely not getting paid, because we're not giving her any money tonight. Let's bring in Dr. Laura Petler. She should be getting paid, though, for all her time with us. Death investigator, forensic criminologist in Monroe, North Carolina. Dr. Laura, should I swear you in first, or should we just trust your point of view? What's going on here? Why can't two experts like this agree on the direction of the shot, of the fatal shot?
Vinny, this is common among forensic pathologists, and I know that sounds crazy, but it actually is. I have seen two pathologists stand in the same room autopsying one body, and they disagree on directionality, and they have different opinions. So it's very common. I've seen it throughout my career.
All right, so does one of the two make more sense to you than the other, based upon your experience and your years in studying this stuff and watching these pathologists testify? I mean, I get it. I get one side, you know, works for the state, is paid by the state, just like the other side is paid by the defense. All that's even Steven, right? So does one make more sense to you?
I personally thought Dr. Reimer's explanation made more sense, just because I'm taking into consideration the totality of the evidence and not just the body, because that's my job as a forensic criminologist. So from the standpoint of the first blast to the chest, and then, you know, just thinking of the body just moving in a natural motion, it follows with a second blast to the left side of the body. To me, that personally made more sense, but I've not worked the case or seen the file or was present for the autopsy. So I can only go off of what we're hearing here in testimony.
Yeah, so when we have this battle of the experts, some people say it's a wash, and you have to look at the other evidence, and you have to look at some of the other testimony and what makes common sense. All right, so a lot of this is important because it has to do with blood spatter and the spatter of brain material and tissue, etc. So let's take a listen to a little bit of testimony relative to that to see if it clears anything up tonight.
After you took a shower, what did you change into?
I changed into the clothes that you've seen in this trial, shorts and the shirt.
Did you get on your shirt high velocity blood spatter from being within a distance of a shooting Maggie or Paul?
There's no way that I had high velocity blood spatter on me.
Had you seen reports that said that at one point in time?
I have seen reports that said that.
Just to be clear, were you anywhere in the vicinity when Paul and Maggie were shot?
I was nowhere near Paul and Maggie when they got shot.
How would you describe the defendant's hands when you saw him when you were interviewing him? How would you describe his hands?
They were clean. Clean.
How would you describe his arms?
They were clean.
How would you describe his t-shirt?
Clean.
How would you describe his shorts?
Clean.
How would you describe his shoes?
They were clean.
He's clean. So obviously what the defense is saying, you know, he would have been close, he would have been filled with all this tissue, brain matter, etc. So, Dr. Laura, as you look at this case, again, big picture, all the way, pull all the way back, the fact that he appears clean that night, where does that lead us? What's the conclusion we should take from that? Or is it still a little confusing?
You know, I think that it can be confusing depending on which position you're taking on the case. I think that in the totality of evidence, we know that the shotgun blast and the other blast, at least the shotgun blast was at a close range within 3 feet. blood spatter, specifically high velocity impact spatter, does not travel more than 3 feet. But you're talking, Vinny, about minute. When you're talking about high velocity, you're talking about blood stains, spheroids of blood that are like 1 millimeter in size. They can be a little bigger, but then, you know, with a shotgun, you're going to have a variation in the distribution of blood stains. So it's very possible that other types of blood and body kind of fluids and things like that do get on a shooter at 3 feet away. But in this particular case, the sled agent, she testified that he was clean. His hands were clean, his clothes were clean. So in my opinion, you know, if they didn't find HVIS, a high velocity impact spatter, on his shirt, that would make sense with her saying that it's clean. And I think that he took a shower and he admits that. And I think there's a fiber of truth in the thread of every lie.
Yeah, wow. Dr. Laura Petler, we should be paying you for all the help you've been giving us. Thank you so much.
Vinny.
We'll speak
Thanks for
again
having
really,
me.
really soon.